Hey there guys, Robert here, and welcome to the second episode of Monthly EDM Track Summaries, where I talk about the summary of an EDM track once a month. For this episode, we are going to be talking about a track that is really one of my favorite tracks from my favorite EDM artist. It is a track called Imaginary Friends by the one and only deadmau5. Before I talk more about it though, we first need to know who deadmau5 is. Joel Thomas Zimmerman, aka deadmau5, is a Canadian electronic music producer, DJ, and musician from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And like I said before, he is my favorite EDM artist of all time. Ton of respect for this guy. Dude is mega talented. He has released 8 studio albums, 9 compilation albums, 2 video albums, 18 music videos, 6 EPs, and 48 singles. He has also released 1 soundtrack album, and that one is for the movie Polar, released in January 2019. He really made a name for himself with releases of songs like I Remember and Ghost and Stuff, which are both favorites of mine. I started listening to his music in the 1st or 2nd grade, back when I only had an iPod. On that iPod, I saw one of his albums' random album title just laying there in the iTunes library, and it had I Remember on it. I listened to it, and I absolutely loved it. And sooner or later, I checked out the guy's other stuff like Ghost and Stuff, Strobe, etc., and I became a fan of him ever since. There's not even a single track that I don't like from him. Except maybe One Trick Pony, but whatever. His music is fantastic across the board. Even Vexillology, though that album can be a bit tedious sometimes. Now that we know who he is, let's talk about Imaginary Friends. It is a 7-minute track that appeared as track number 6 off of his 8th and latest album, W Drive 2016 album. And this track is supposedly based off of one of his unreleased tracks called 71C, as evident from a video I watched on YouTube one time where deadmau5 was making Imaginary Friends on a live stream, and also because 71C is also made available to listen to on YouTube by people who are huge fans of this guy, like myself. What do I think about this track? It is such an awesome track from front to back. It's nothing but a 7-minute banger that uses its 7 minutes very wisely. And you're going to see why right now. Also, fair warning, if you have not heard this track at all, there will be spoilers. So now without any further ado, I present to you my summarization of deadmau5's Imaginary Friends. Let's dive on into that. So the track starts off with those really nice vocal samples with some really nice synth washes, and with a really nice attention to atmosphere. That's a plus. And then 20 seconds in, that atmosphere fades away and we're left with those synth washes that start to develop a chord progression, which I think is really excellent as well. Then they start to get louder as time goes on until 1 minute and 15 seconds in, where the synth washes evolve into arpeggios. Those arpeggios are then contrasted with a really nice choir sounding pad lead. Then the arpeggios get louder and louder, stronger and stronger until the drop happens 2 minutes in. In that drop, whoa, shit really gets real, as we then hear a really dope bass line contrasting with a really danceable kick drum and a soft snare, as soon as those arpeggios fade away. 15 seconds after the drop hits, we are only left with the bass for less of a second before we start to see more to that beat than just a simple kick drum and snare. We also start to hear some really nice hi-hats as well that really add more to this track as well. There is even a sizzling sounding boomer 2 minutes 30 seconds in. 2 minutes 45 seconds in, we then hear a high-pitched rhythmic beep that also adds to the experience. 2 minutes 58 seconds in, the bass changes for 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, when we reach the 3-minute mark, we are left with just the bass, kick, and snare. Only this time, we also then hear some synths that eventually build up for what's to come. Then the hi-hats come back 8 seconds later, followed by that beep again 3 minutes 15 seconds in. And then, 3 minutes, 30 seconds in, most of the things that I've talked about from the start of the track all the way up to the 2-minute mark apply here as well, so there's really nothing much to talk about in this part. That being said, there are little things that are different from that part that really add to the experience. In this part, the synth washes we heard before contrast with the small little arpeggios, and both of those elements just get more powerful and powerful until the drop hits again 4 minutes 45 seconds in. Before I talk about the second drop though, I'm also going to mention that the choir lead that we heard before also contrasts with the arpeggios and synth washes, and there's even a little string section fading in there too, which is really beautiful. And the chord progression changes slightly 4 minutes 30 seconds in for some more variety. Now, for the second drop, it's more of the same things I talked about in the first drop. Maybe there's a little change to the hi-hats here and there compared to the first drop, but that's really it. The second drop is kind of the same as the first, but it's still really awesome. I never really get sick of that drop. That drop is really freaking dope. And then 6 minutes 15 seconds in, the drop ends, and we then hear those vocal samples and nice attention to atmosphere again, and they slowly fade out until probably around 7 minutes into the track. We also then hear this creepy glockenspiel section that goes on for the rest of this track as soon as those vocal samples and atmosphere elements happen again, and it really adds to the already dark atmosphere of this track. And then 7 minutes 30 seconds in, that glockenspiel section fades out for approximately 15 more seconds of this track, and then the track ends. So yeah, that was Imaginary Friends, and this track is excellent from start to finish. I really love that build up and that chord progression and those vocal samples and that abrasive drop and that change in the chord progression in the second build up and that goddamn glockenspiel ending. Dang, it's just an excellent track all around. And it's easily my favorite track on W Drive, period. Yeah, nothing much to say. Awesome track. Highly recommended. I'm feeling like a strong to a decent 9 on this track. Freaking brilliant track. Absolutely love it. So what do you think of this track? If you have an opinion on this track, feel free to leave it down in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like the video, share with your friends if you want to, and leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe with the bell turned on to never miss another video from me as we're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!